Hello viewers, welcome to Dev's Coding Hub. Today we are going to start a new series on JavaScript. So let's start. What is JavaScript? JavaScript, often abbreviated as JS, is a programming language that conforms to ECMS script specification. It was developed by Brendan Hitch in 1995 during his time at Netscape Communications. Initially, it was named Mocha, later LiveScript, and finally it was named as JavaScript. In December 1995, Sun Microsystems and Netscape announced JavaScript in a press release. So what are the prerequisites for learning JavaScript? Before you start JavaScript, you must have a little knowledge of hypertext markup language or HTML, which is used to create web pages. However, if you don't know how to write HTML code, you can go for my videos on HTML. Advantages of JavaScript as a programming language. You must know JavaScript is a client-side programming language. So it performs client-side validation and every client-side activity for a web page. JavaScript helps the web developer to manipulate browser and its contents, which are not possible with HTML alone. JavaScript can be run in any browser. As JavaScript is a language of web, it is supported by every web browser. JavaScript can be used to validate user forms in web pages. JavaScript is useful in creating interactive and dynamic web pages. JavaScript reduces server interactions. That means it saves time, as it is a client-side scripting language. What does it mean? Actually, the client-side validations are done in the client end by the web browser if it is written using JavaScript. There is no need to submit the code to the web server for evaluation or validation. This saves server interaction time and makes the code quicker in execution. Now, how to include JavaScript in a web page? To include JavaScript in a web page, we have no hard and fast rules. We can include JavaScript anywhere in an HTML document. But the best practices to include JavaScript in an HTML file are as follows. We can include the JavaScript in the head section of the HTML page or web page. Including the JavaScript is also possible in the body section. We can also include JavaScript both in body and head section at the same time in the same page. Or what we can do, we can create an external JavaScript file with an extension .js and then include it in the head section. Now let us see a sample JavaScript code. As because we are writing this JavaScript inside HTML, we are starting with doc type HTML as we are targeting HTML5. Then HTML, the HTML tag is used to start a web page, followed by its first section, which is called head. Head specifies the header information of the web page. Here we can write the title of the web page, which is going to be displayed on the title bar of the web page, or it can be displayed in a tab also. So as a title we have written my first JavaScript code. And after title I have used the script tag. By the way, the script tag is used to include JavaScript code in a web page. Now two attributes are there, language and type. Language is obviously JavaScript and type is text oblique JavaScript. Remember, the second attribute type is used nowadays. The language attribute is deprecated. So we will not use language furthermore. Now we have written both the attributes. Most of the browser ignores this particular attribute called language. So if I write script, type text oblique JavaScript, it will be okay. Now we are displaying something as a message box by using alert method. Alert method is a method using which we can display a message in form of a message box on top of the web page we are viewing. So I have written welcome to Dev's Coding Hub as the message, and it will be displayed as a message box. And then we have closed the script. Then you have started the close the head section, followed by body opening and closing, and then I have closed the HTML. So this is the basic structure of HTML page. Starts with HTML, closes with HTML. It's just like a human body. We have two parts physically, the head and the body area. So it is the head area of the web page, and this is body area. So this is how we can include JavaScript in the head section of a web page. Now, handling white spaces and line breaks. How JavaScript handles white spaces and line breaks. JavaScript ignores spaces, tabs, and new lines that appear in JavaScript programs. We can use spaces, tabs, and new line as per your need to format and indent your program to make it easy to read and understand. So see an example where we have written script type equals to JavaScript. I have indented it using a tab. Where x equals to 10, we are declaring a variable which is 10 and checking with if condition. If x modulus 2 equals to 0, I am printing an alert even number. So if x is perfectly divisible by 2 and it returns 0, then it will be an even number. So we will print a message even number using an alert, and I am closing the script. So this indentation makes the readability of the code better than normal coding. So JavaScript allows white spaces, line breaks, tabs to indent our code so that it becomes easy to read and understand. Now, variables in JavaScript. Like other programming languages also, to store data, we use the concept of variables. So what are variables? In JavaScript, variable is a memory location identified by a name and is used to store a value. So primary goal of a variable is to store a value. The value stored in a variable can be changed and retrieved as and when required in the program. A variable can be declared by using the var keyword. Now the next topic is variable naming rules. In JavaScript, how do we name a variable or identify? There are some rules. So let us see the rules that are used to name a variable in JavaScript. The rules to comply with while naming a variable are: a variable name may only contain letters, digits, and underscore characters. A variable name should start with a letter or underscore character. A variable name must not be a reserved word. JavaScript is a case-sensitive language. So, variable name written in lowercase abc is different from capitalized ABC, or it is also different from capital or uppercase ABC. Now, how to declare a variable in JavaScript? The var keyword is used to declare a variable in JavaScript. The syntax for declaring a variable is var followed by the name of the variable, or it is the identifier, var followed by identifier. Let us see one example. Var a semicolon, or it can be written as var a without the semicolon also. Next one, declaring a, b, c, three variables at once. So var a, comma b, comma c followed by semicolon, or it could be written like var a, comma b, comma c. However, JavaScript allows variable declaration without var keyword also. But in such a case, you must assign a value when you declare a variable without the var keyword. So let us see one example. We are writing w equals to 4, so it is a variable declaration as well as assignment. So we are assigning the value 4 to w. Underscore message MSG is a variable where a hello is assigned, and the third one is multiple declarations like x equals to 33, comma y equals to 44, and z equals to x into y. Now when I write x equals to 33, comma y equals to 44, comma z equals to x into y, x gets the value 33, y gets the value 44, and z gets the value x into y. That means 33 and 44 will be multiplied and it will be stored in z. Now JavaScript is untyped language. What does it mean? JavaScript is dynamically typed. It uses duck typing. Using duck typing, we do not check types of the variable itself. So we are not concerned about types at all. Instead, we check for the presence of a given method or attribute. So let us see. What does it mean? The name duck typing comes from the phrase, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. It means if I assign x equals to 5, x is a variable and the 5 is the value that is assigned to x. So by looking at 5, the value that is assigned to x, we can determine the data type of x. So there is no need to write down the data type of x in the declaration of x. This is called duck typing. You can also see a reply from His Excellency Brandon H. on the Twitter. On Twitter, he replied to a thread that linked to this question. Academic types use untyped to mean no static type. Semicolons are optional in JavaScript. As we have already declared variable without a semicolon or with semicolon, now I am making it clear that semicolons are optional in JavaScript. Generally, in programming languages like C, C++ and Java, it is mandatory to terminate a simple statement by using a semicolon character. In JavaScript, it is optional. So, we may or may not put a semicolon character to end the simple statement. Example 1. Where num is a declaration of a variable, it is terminated by semicolon, it is okay. It is also same as where num without a semicolon. There is no problem with the code. Another example is where n1, where n2, but it is wrong. As because there is no separator in between, we cannot declare two variables like this. It should be written as where n1 semicolon where n2. As it is written in the same line, two variable declarations are written in the same line, it must be terminated by semicolon. Or we can write where n1 comma n2 semicolon by separating using the comma operator. Or we can write where n1 comma n2 without semicolon also. All these declarations are okay. Our next topic is using comma operator. The comma operator evaluates each of its operands from left to right and returns the value of the last operand, that means the rightmost operand. This lets you create a compound expression in which multiple expressions are evaluated. Let us see some examples. Example 1. Declaring three variables using comma operator in a single line. Where space a comma b comma c followed by semicolon. Remember, the semicolon is not mandatory. Example 2. Where n1 equals to within parenthesis 2 comma 4 semicolon. Now n1 is 4 after this operation, because first the value 2 will be stored in n1, then the value 4 will be stored in n1. That means the value 2 will be overwritten by the value 4. So this is how comma operator can be used also. Example 3. Where s equals to 5 comma t equals to within parenthesis 2 comma s into 3. Now s is already assigned to 5. Now t has two assignments. Initially t is assigned to 2 and then t is assigned to s into 3, and the value of s is 5 and it is multiplied with 3 to get 15. Now after this line is executed, the value of s will be 5 and the value of t will be 15. Another example is there. Comma operator can be used to do multiple assignments in for loops also. For a equals to 2 comma b equals to 4, a is less than equals to 10, a plus plus. So later on, when we'll learn loops, we'll go through this. Our next topic is JavaScript reserved words. Reserved words are known as keywords, and these are tokens that have special meaning in JavaScript. Let us see the list of JavaScript reserved words or keywords. So a lot of keywords are there. I'm reading out some of them: abstract, argument, await, boolean, break, byte, case, catch, char, like this. You can see some keywords are highlighted with blue text with an asterisk symbol at the end. These are actually new keywords or reserved words which were introduced in ECMScript 5 and 6. JavaScript data types. Data types basically specify what kind of data can be stored and manipulated within a program. There are 6 basic data types in JavaScript, which can be divided into 3 main categories. First one is primitive or primary data types. String, number and boolean are the 3 primitive or primary data types used in JavaScript. Next one is composite or reference data types. These are object, array and function. The third one is special data types. It includes undefined and null. Primitive data types can hold only one value at a time, whereas composite data types can hold collection of values and more complex entries. Now let us do some coding in JavaScript. First, we have to know about the JavaScript alert method. The JavaScript alert method is used to display an alert box or message box on top of the window we are viewing. That means on top of the browser window we get this kind of alerts or message boxes. Let us see an example how an alert is written. Suppose we want to display welcome to JavaScript programming as an alert box. So we'll write alert within parentheses, within double quotes, the string should be passed. And our string is welcome to JavaScript programming. If we write this, it will display a message box or alert box with the message welcome to JavaScript programming. The JavaScript prompt method. The next method we will run is JavaScript prompt. The JavaScript prompt method is used to take user input by displaying a dialog box on top of the window we are viewing. That means it is displayed on top of the web page to take user input. Let us see one example. Where name1, we are declaring a variable name1 which will be storing a name, and this name will be given by the user. So what you can do, after equal sign you can write prompt and then a message for the user, by reading which the user will enter the appropriate data. And in this case the message is enter your name. So in the prompt box, enter your name will be displayed, and beneath that a text box will be given. The user can write his or her name in that box. Another example, suppose we want to take the age of a person. The age of a person is number, a numeric data. Now whatever we write in prompt box, it is always text or string. So if I only write prompt enter your age, I can take the data into age 1, but in this case that age will be a string 1. We cannot do calculation using that age. If I want to convert the entered age to number and then store it in age 1, so that age 1 stores a numeric age, we have to use this function or method. The name of the function or method is parseInt. If we put the prompt inside the parseInt method, or the parentheses of the parseInt method, it will take the input from prompt, which is string, and it will convert it into numeric value and it will store it in h1. Here the %int is used for converting string to integer. The next method is the JavaScript confirm method. The confirm method is used to display a modal dialog box with an optional message and two buttons, OK and cancel. It returns true if the user clicks on OK and false otherwise. So it can be used to ask a question to user which can be answered in yes or no or OK or cancel. So for selecting alternative choices we can use confirm. Now what do you mean by modal dialog box? Modal dialog box is a kind of dialog box. When it appears, we must give attention to the dialog box. We must complete the activity in the dialog box to come back to the browser window. When the dialog box is active, we cannot go back to the browser window. Let us see how we can write or generate confirm dialog box. The example is like this. Suppose we are taking answer from the user. We are just checking whether the user is male or not. So I have declared a variable directly answer without the var keyword as I am assigning the value. Then I put confirm method, and inside that a question is asked, are you male? And this confirm box will display OK and cancel as the two buttons. If the user clicks on OK, then it will be true as the return value, and if the user clicks on cancel, it will be false as the return value. So I am checking with if condition. If answer equals to true, that means the user has clicked on the OK button. I'll display an alert box that the user is a male. Else, if the user has clicked on the cancel button, this condition will be false and it will display the else part, which is not male. So it will display an alert where the message not male is written. If you have enjoyed my video, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to click on the notification icon so that you get a notification of my videos which are uploaded. Thank you.